Hey guys, it's been a couple of weeks since I last made a video here. Not because there was a lack of stuff happening, but because I had a lack of motivation to record and post anything. Um, so this is kind of probably, it's gonna be a little bit rambly because I pretty much just woke up, and I don't really have a plan for this video. Um, so what I want to cover is two things, two and a half things, sort of, I guess. So we'll start with the first. On July 25th, we. Okay, sorry. So on July 24th, I was 19 weeks pregnant. Um, that's pretty much it. Nothing exciting has really happened. Honestly, I feel like I've kind of coasted through this pregnancy so far, other than the bleeding at whatever it was, 16 weeks. But I feel like I've been pretty lucky. Um, I've been tired. Um, my temper is shorter than usual, but I've been really lucky with no nausea, no real pregnancy symptoms, so to speak. Um, anyways, on the 24th, I was 19 weeks. On the 25th, we had our anatomy scan. So I don't know if I've mentioned this before or not, but my husband previously did not want to find out the sex of the baby. Um, to be fair, I also didn't want to find out the sex pre-pregnancy because I didn't want to give people the ability to hyper gender my child and make assumptions for their life based on their gender, or their genitals, I should say, maybe. So before pregnancy, my like pie in the sky idea was, nope, we're not finding out. Once the baby's born, we'll know, and that's that. So that changed when I got pregnant, and I really, 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 really had a strong feeling that I know the sex of the baby. I still feel the same. Literally, no part of me has considered the other side of the equation. Um, so that's not to say that I'm making preparations for this sex. Um, I really feel like that's what we're having. And because I know myself, I knew that I would need to get confirmation before the baby's born. Because if I go my whole pregnancy thinking one thing and then the baby's born, the other option, so to speak, um, I I know obviously I'm happy either way. Just to preface that, it's not that I'm like gonna be totally angry and like disown my child at birth if it's not what I expected. Um, yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But anyways, my point was, if I go my whole pregnancy thinking one thing and at birth find out it's the other, I do not want any of the first things I feel when my baby has entered the world. I don't want any part of that, even for a split second, to be disappointment. Because I'm usually really good about not getting my hopes up and not planning too far, because I know things change and I've been let down so many times and it's just not worth it to be hurt all the time. So I try really hard not to get my hopes up. But like I said, no part of me has even thought the other sex for our child. So, like I said, I'll be happy either way. I need to know ahead of time. So if I have been wrong this long, I have time to adjust my expectations moving forward. Um, anyways, had the anatomy scan. That's where this started. Um, and my husband, like I said, had previously not wanted to know. He was okay if I found out, as long as I didn't tell him. Um, so that was going to be hard, but I was okay to do it. But he changed his mind. He wants to know now. So we go to the anatomy scan together. We do everything we're supposed to. I drink the water. I do everything I'm supposed to. Baby is a jerk. Baby did not want to cooperate. So we have to go back, is what it comes down to, for a second scan. But yeah, so we saw the baby, obviously. But the way they were positioned, their head was right underneath my belly button. So the tech had a hard time getting clear pictures of the brain and the skull and all that. I think she got them, but I'm not 100% sure. We got to see the heart, all 4 chambers of the heart. Everything seemed to look good there. But then the baby, when it came time for like the nose and mouth pictures, baby had their hands up in front of their face, like was not letting that happen. Plus, the tech had a hard time seeing the baby's abdomen because my child is my child and was curled up in a ball. Like I said, hands to face, knees to elbows, like curled in a ball. Oh, and feet crossed. So I'm like, sure, why not? Of course. You are my child. So on the one hand, I'm like, really, baby? Like, you couldn't have just made this easy. We couldn't have just done this once. But on the other hand, now I get to see the baby again when I probably wouldn't have. So that's all good. So that was on the 25th, like I said, which was a Wednesday. And then the 1st was the following Wednesday. So this coming Wednesday, the 8th, I go back. And my husband cannot come this time. So I'm going to find out, assuming the baby lets us, the sex of the baby. My cat is scratching. I'm going to find out, and then I'm going to do just like a mini reveal for my husband. So nothing like super fancy. And like I've said before, we're not sharing that with anyone else. So I won't be sharing that here. It won't be on social media. I won't be telling anybody except my husband. Yeah, so that was that. And then I got an email the evening of, or like the late afternoon of the 25th, from a midwife clinic who had an opening and was going to be able to do an initial meeting with me to make sure that I was a good fit and they were a good fit and we were a good fit together. So that meeting was for the following morning, the 26th. So I called my boss. I said, hey, here's the deal. This is a doctor I've been waiting to hear from, basically. Because I don't know what it's like anywhere else, but here in Alberta, anyways, you as the patient or pregnant lady or whatever, so to speak, you have to apply to the, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the Midwives Association of the province. And then you wait to find out if you have been accepted into a practice. And so I applied in May. I heard from a practice, I think it was in June, maybe late in June. And everything was great. And then we got to the point of asking about my BMI, and the lady told me that my BMI was too high. And I was too high risk, and they would have to transfer my care to an OB. So they didn't take me. So I dealt with that. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I dealt with that. I decided now my only option was an OB, which meant in a hospital. So how can I still get what I want out of this? Because honestly, we only are planning to have one child. Like, something crazy would have to change for us to change our minds. Well, for me to change my mind. My husband wants 2. I wanted none. So in my mind, 1 is a compromise. And then it took so long. It took longer than we thought to get this one. So it's like, do I want to do it again? I don't know. Anyways, that's not the point. The point is, what was the point? Oh, yeah. I'm on the track for the OB, and I had heard of doulas, but I didn't know anything about them. So I did some research and decided that that was the best middle ground for me, was to have an OB in a hospital, but hire a doula. So I hired a doula. And then, like a week later, I got the original email from this other midwife practice saying that a spot had opened and they wanted to book an appointment with me. So then, yeah, the email I got on the 25th about the midwife was like, hey, we've had a cancellation. Can you come tomorrow morning? So my boss said, yes, come in late, no big deal. So I went and I met with the midwife. And I will say, I'm glad. Like, I still have my doula, obviously. And I asked the midwife, and she said that's great, because while the midwives are there for support, obviously, during labor, they often get caught up in actually getting the baby out. So to have a doula as just support, because they don't do any of the actual birthing or like medications or anything, it's support basically. So like, it's kind of like having an extra husband, but she's a woman and she's been through labor. Like, she has kids and she's a registered doula. So she has experience with comfort measures and, you know, ways to distract you, like, not distract you from birthing the baby, but just kind of distract you from the pain that you might be feeling. So yeah, anyways, I met with the midwife. Oh my god, I'm so rambly. This is a mess. I met with the midwife. And she was great. Like, I still think midwifery is the way to go for us. Because you have the option of a home birth or the birthing center, if there's a birthing center available where you are, or the hospital. Like, your options are more than they would be with an OB. And I personally felt like an OB was more about get the baby out quickly. It wasn't about having a good experience or having the kind of labor you want to have. It was about, let's just get the baby out so I can move on with my day. Whereas I again, personally feel like a midwife is more consistent care. Not that OBs are inconsistent, but at least where I am, oftentimes you don't just get your one OB. You're a part of like a group practice. So, you know, there's 7, 8, 9, 14 OBs in one practice, and you might never see the same one for any of your appointments. You might not have even met the doctor who delivers your baby. So that's actually what happened to my cousin. She had a different doctor at every appointment, and the doctor who delivered her daughter, she had never met. And I know the level of care is still good. I know that. But it felt more clinical. Whereas I feel like a midwife is more personal and more consistent, because you see the same, like, well, mine is a team of 2, but I'll see the same midwives through my whole pregnancy, and one or both of them will be there when I'm delivering. So, rambling aside, I now have a midwife and a doula, and I still don't know where I'm going to give birth, because I do not want to do a home birth, because I just don't. So many women talk about it being relaxing to be at home because you're in your home, like, this is where you live. But for me, I think having the baby here makes it a stressful situation, like birthing the baby here, not the baby being in my house. I think that makes it stressful in the house rather than relaxing. So I don't want that. But there is a birthing center in my city, and I looked it up. I think it's not covered by our health system. But I think it was like $500 or something to use the birthing center, which is really not that much. Like, when I think about what I'm gonna be paying to have my baby, I'm paying $500 if I go with the birthing center. I'm paying about $800 for my doula and her birth classes, birth coaching classes, childbirth lessons. I don't know. Something. She offers something that's valuable to us, and we're going to do it. So, depending on what else comes up, I don't think I have to pay anything else. So, I mean, living in Canada, I always kind of thought having a baby was free, but turns out, number one, it isn't. Because if you're in the hospital, on my cousin's experience, anyways, she was in a hospital and she didn't realize that asking for a private room was going to cost her extra, which she probably should have, but that's not the point. So they will charge you for stuff up here, but it's the extra stuff. So the doula that I'm hiring on my own and the birthing center, because I'm not just going to a hospital, like, those are extras. But at $500 and $800, so I'm going to be at what, $1,300? Like, that's nothing compared to what I know other people pay in other countries. Like, I'm not complaining, just so we're clear. So yeah, I still have to decide that. But let's wrap this up because it's long. And so my next video will probably, well, it will be after the second anatomy scan, and hopefully I have some stuff to talk about. Hopefully. Anyways, I gotta stop because this is so long and it's so rambly, and I'm sure I've lost half of my viewers halfway through the video. So thank you for watching. If you've got any questions, please leave them below. I don't get a lot of comments, so I like when I do. And like I said, if you've got questions, I'm happy to answer them from my experience. Obviously, I never claim to be a doctor or a professional or anything like that. I think I mentioned before that I've got a baby Instagram account, so I'll put that in the description. If you want to follow me, it is a private account, so you have to request to follow me, but if possible, let me know who you are, sort of, or like where you came from, and I'll approve you. I just don't want a whole bunch of, those spammy accounts following me. Anyways, I said let's wrap this up. Let's wrap it up. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.